Episode 5.
Switch it up like it's about to go up, break them like internet. Goofies run up, we leave them in the dead.
You say, okay, I have a lot of money, but you have no money unless you take profits.
When the first ever spot ETF was created for gold 10x.
And the only thing I really knew was Bitcoin at the time, so I just invested very heavily into that. Rode it all the way up.
What's up?
My name is Jeff. Even the creators have said it's going to be the predecessor of CBDC.
What that taught me was that I need to be self-sufficient.
A solid DCA investment strategy, and pretend the red sell button doesn't even exist.
We about to go up like.
All right, episode 5. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about crypto being a gateway drug. So what I want everybody to do that's watching live at home, I just want you guys to think about this real quick, all right? It's 2025, 2026. Let's look into the future a little bit real quick. You've just made your last DCA out of the market, all right? You have a 5, a 6, a 7-figure profit that you're sitting on right there. What exactly are you going to do with that sort of money? Are you the type of person that's going to go and you're going to buy a Lambo, you're going to go buy that Rolex, you're going to ball out? Are you that type of person that might roll that money into something like real estate, or would you roll it into the stock market? Are you going to take the opportunity to invest in yourself, start your own sort of business? Are you going to start a side hustle with everything? What exactly are you going to do with those gains that you receive? So that's the focus that we're going to be talking about tonight. So thank everybody for joining us live. It's a great opportunity for everyone to come together and just learn a little bit more about the crypto space and just the different sort of things that we got going on in it. So without further ado, give me one quick second real quick. I got a ringing going on in my headphones for some reason.
We do it live,
so
man.
We're gonna hop into it. So tonight we're excited. We got our first live sub that's able to hang out with us. We got Antoine with us tonight. Antoine, I want to ask you to go ahead and hop off mute real quick and tell us a little bit about yourself, how you found our channel, what excites you about crypto, and what all are you looking for? So I'm going to turn the floor over to you, buddy. And welcome.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Man. I mean, I'll start off by saying this channel specifically, a lot of people in this ecosystem here, man, helped me not pretty much dump every single ounce of investment money I had blindly. You guys led me to actually make profit, which, in the crypto space being new is very difficult because there's a lot to learn. Even professionals, say you still have to have like years of experience to really be a professional, but I was zero knowledge, and you guys like actually like spoon fed me in some ways, which I still appreciate, and I know I could have been of annoying in some aspects, but you know, originally from up north in Jersey, came down to Florida, where I freaking the free state down here is a better environment. But I found crypto pretty much probably like a lot of people in the crypto mindset course, which is where I found you guys. I was watching Fresh and Fit. It was purely financial stuff that I was into, like real estate, building credit, stuff like that, because, you know, I needed it. I mean, I didn't think I had credit until I was like 25, I would say, because I didn't think it was like necessary until you actually realize credit's basically how you get into anything in life these days. So when I found Charlie and Miguel, I think I remember getting in like freaking right at the cusp, right at the limit. And then, you know, got introduced to Pulse and a lot of you guys in the chat. It was hard because like I have like a huge drive of, you know, like Charlie says, self-sovereignty, being financially free, that whole nine. You know, it was more of just the being free that attracted me to the whole crypto family, crypto anything. And I didn't really know anything about it before joining the course. Like I remember investing into like Ethereum, like when it crashed, just because my physical therapist was preaching about it. He was mining and all that, but I didn't know anything about it. But then when I was in the course, it was like an overload, man. Like there's not enough questions I could have asked at the time. But like people like I don't know if Nate remembers, but he helped me a lot. Jay helped me. Josh helped me. Pretty much everybody in here has helped me in some way or another. And like my main goal for crypto, realistically, is just to just have assets, because really main reason why I hopped into it is the economy, man. Like I got spooked when like banks were closing and stuff like that. Like I am not trying to be like stuck in any single way. I'm not that type of guy. I had a couple friends up north actually recently when I went to visit, like literally asked me like, isn't ignorant bliss? Or yeah, exactly that saying. And I was like, F no, bro. I don't want to be just like another guy going with the flow. I want to be able to do what I want. So like one thing that I've been struggling with is finding like that community that has the same successful and strive and do better mindset that I can like relate to personally face to face, and we can do it together. And, you know, I found it in a lot of people in the chats and in this environment here, because we all have very similar goals. And it was such a breath of fresh air, man, to find people with the same mindset as me, because some people like it just, even to this day, man, like I don't understand like that mindset of just like living life like in a straight line, you know, like whatever comes their way, they'll deal with it. They minimum, like just minimum, you know, like I don't have that mindset, and I can't find anybody that's close with me that has that same mindset either. So you guys really, you know, uplifted me to know that there's people out there that I can kind of chat with and freaking know I'm not alone. But yeah, man, just I'm still new to crypto. There's still a lot I have to learn, but I actually, man, I'm on it 24/7. Like you guys weren't kidding with the no sleep gang. I used to think like, nah, I'll be out like 2, you know, maybe 1:30 most. 4 in the morning, I gotta be at work at like 6. But screw it, man. Like if I didn't do that and run with you guys, then like I made my first big purchase not too long ago, and the way I look at it is having my money in assets is way better than having it in a savings account just sitting there, like a lot of people like to do. So me personally, I like to put money into assets and roll them over. So pretty much everything you discussed in the beginning with real estate, Rolexes, not so much cars, that's for entertainment and fun purposes only, but like I'm heavily into real estate, into just something that keeps its value, or at least stays in that market. Like I bought a watch, I bought my first Rolex, and you know I bought it at a good price. It's already worth 3,000 more than when I bought it. So stuff like that, stuff that like say if shit was going like downhill and our dollar wasn't accepted. I can hand somebody a Rolex and get my whole family out. You know, that's what I like to tell my family when they ask me why I do the things I do instead of just saving the money into my account. But man, the end goal is just to beat people out of real estate and to build my own empire so I don't have to answer to anybody. And I just want to just like how Shooter has the war room, man. Like I would love to start something like that or be a part of something like that you guys are doing right now. So I'm just really happy that Josh asked me to be on here because specifically this group is what helped me the most. I mean, bro, like if I didn't enter this course, this is the last thing I'll say. If I didn't enter this course, I would have never in a million years have bought a Rolex. I would never have even thought about it. Probably would have still been, you know, I'm a tradesman, so I work, you know, I'm a plumber, you know, maybe even start my own plumbing company, but like we make good money, but not enough to where like I can be financially free, you know, especially not nowadays. But basically this group of people, if they asked me to do anything, I would do it. That's how much you guys have helped me. And I just hope people, you know, will actually take that in like I did and freaking want to be successful in life, you know. But that's pretty much, hopefully that answered enough, but that's my crypto experience basically.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I mean, we get people from all different walks of life. You know what I'm saying? We get people from all different experience levels. So, you know, everybody starts from the beginning. I remember when I started, and everybody that's on the panel tonight, they all remember when they started in crypto. And, you know, being able to have a solid community, to be able to have questions answered and just to bounce ideas off of. Definitely take advantage of the Telegram chat. Glad to see you're in there. And yeah, man, we're excited every time we see questions from you and, you know, the opportunity to help you out whenever we can. I know I look forward to it and everybody else on the panel does as well. So a couple disclaimers, of course, about the channel. This episode tonight, of course, nothing we're going to talk about should be considered financial advice. Okay, this is for financial entertainment, just something to pique the curiosity, pique the brain. So nothing that we're saying is going to be considered financial advice. Just wanted to go ahead and make that known right up front from the beginning of the channel. And make sure you guys please comment on the video. Make sure you guys like the channel. Make sure you guys are subbed for all of our future content. So with that, let's go ahead and hop into the weekly TA. I'm going to go ahead and cover that. As you guys can tell, Jay is not on channel tonight. He had something that he had to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the TA portion of that. So just bear with me real quick. Let me get my screen.
So Josh, while you're getting that pulled up, just let me comment real quick on AZ over here. Like, that is something incredibly important that I think you need to understand, is that you had that mindset of, no, I'm not just going to go do a job, have that life of paying taxes and everything to the point where all my money is almost gone and I'm just going to be okay with like barely scratching by, right? You're like, no, I want more. You know, I actually want real money. You know, I want financial freedom. Freedom is the key word, right? And so I think that was a really important thing that you said there, because you are on that path right now. That is exactly what you are doing. And so I just personally think it is really important that you continue on with this and you keep trying to learn as much as you can. Get around guys like us, right? Like, we came together all from trying to learn how to get financial freedom, right? And we're like, hey, I can help you out. I can help you out. And we start like, you know, shooting ideas back and forth with each other, and we just grow from there. Like, for anyone who's watching, it is most important that you get around people who are going to help you out with that journey.
Yeah, I agree completely, and thank you for saying that. That's why I found it in you guys. Like I said, I can't find it in like even like another average guy like me, man. Like it's hard for people to find. Like, I don't know what it is, but like it's hard to explain. I don't know if it's like just rare for people like us to have like that, people like us that have that mindset, but like personal, I moved to a different state and I still can't even find people with that mindset. So for me, it was truly like a miracle for me to find like you guys as a group of people who have like if not the same mindset, even further beyond. And that's what I'm looking for, is someone further beyond to push me. Because this is all strictly like before I met like anybody in this course, or in just in this environment at all, like it was just me freaking white knuckling it and going about it by myself. There was no support or no somebody that can check me when I was down and or slacking or anything like that. So like I don't think, like, I know you guys know how important it is, but like just to remind you guys, like people like you like are very, very, very important as far as like men and the average man and just yeah, like I can't stress it enough that like how important it is that people like you are around, because it does help, and it does, and people do listen. It's just they need that extra push, and I mean, I just keep doing it and people will follow, you know. You build it, they will come, man. Like that quote is like legit. And I just wanted to again thank everybody in this chat, because at least majority of you, at least 8 out of 10 of you guys helped me like make like one of my biggest purchases and beyond, because I'm not going anywhere, because there's nowhere else I can go. You guys are pretty much my my support and my push when it comes to keep going on with this thing. So I just wanted to thank you again, and thank you, Nate, because you are one of the ones that did help me like greatly.
Iron sharpens iron, man, and that's one of the things that's so awesome about the community that we're building here is, I mean, we're just all in it to help each other. You know, whether it doesn't matter how long you've been in, it doesn't matter what your specific strategy is. I got a wildly different strategy than a lot of people that are on the panel here. You know, but you know, it doesn't matter specifically what the strategy is. It's all being like-minded and just, you know, coming together and just iron sharpens iron, and really just being there with each other, holding each other accountable, and you know, making sure that everybody is putting in as much work as possible to be as successful as they can. So yeah, man, thank you so much for joining. So but yeah, let's go ahead and hop into TA, get that covered. Bear with me real quick. I'm sharing my screen. And Brendan, if you could just go full screen on the chart for me, if you could do that. All right, we got somebody just let me know that we got it up, because I don't
You're
have
good.
the live stream.
Take it away.
All right, perfect. Cool deal. All right, guys. If you are tracking the Bitcoin 60-day cycles, we are at the halfway point. Let's go ahead and get this zoomed in right here. So we are on the weekly for Bitcoin. All right, I'm going to switch it over to the daily. We'll run the ruler down. So we had our cycle low, our 60-day cycle low. If you guys are tracking the cycle lows back here on June 15th. All right, June 15th happened, and then we got the BlackRock ETF news, and it's been green candles since that time, with a little bit of chop over the last week or two. But nonetheless, we got a pretty substantial green candle. So if we take a look here, we are right here on day 31. So we're right at the halfway point of that 60-day cycle. If we take a look at the price action, all right, we are sitting about 5% off of the cycle high. The new cycle high was set back here on Thursday, the 13th. We topped off at a price of $31,890. That's at least what the Bitstamp chart is showing us. We're 5% off of that high, as opposed to about 18% off of the cycle low from 31 days ago. So the probability when we're sitting in a situation like this is we're going to be looking at a right translated cycle. Of course, you know, anything we say tomorrow, Bitcoin could turn over and it could all go to zero. But the probability based on years and years of charting and years of price history is when we are 31 days into a cycle and we're only sitting 5% off of the high that was set within that 30-day cycle, or within that 60-day cycle, typically we're going to be going up. So what we can do is we can take a quick look real quick here, and let's look at some price. Let's look at some price projections that we can make here. Of course, if you see this orange line right here, this 36,000, that is the macro fib level. I like to have those plotted on my charts at all times just to be able to keep an idea. So if we look at the last cycle high versus the cycle low, we can see that we've already broken the last cycle high, right? So good target, $36,000. That could be a good target that we could hit coming up within the next, I would say, probably 15 to 25 days. We are 31 days in, so we want to be looking around that 45 to 55 day mark. I'm not going to really draw a price prediction here at this point, but that $35,000 mark could be good. And, you know, if we come out, I know that BlackRock has officially accepted, or I'm sorry, the SEC has officially accepted the BlackRock application for the Bitcoin spot ETF. So if we get any more substantial bullish news on that, it could send it up to the $41,800 mark. That would be a very strong bullish move, but certainly a more conservative move would be that $35,000 level. So that's where we're sitting right now. Let's go ahead and take a look over here at Ethereum. Bear with me real quick. All right. Ethereum has the same amount of time. We're around day 31. If Ethereum's going to track along the 60-day Bitcoin cycle, of course, there might be a couple occasions where Bitcoin and Ethereum don't follow in that exact same schedule. But as it sits now, it's they seem to be coupled again, which is cool. Ethereum still hasn't made that cycle high yet. Let's go ahead and take a look what Ethereum would have to do. All right, so we're right up here at the 0.78 level. So all we have to do, once we can regain that 2100 price point that was set back here in April, we should be good to go. $2,500 could be a good price point once Ethereum can break through, make a new cycle high, and start going green. As it sits now, Bitcoin certainly has the dominance in play. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance real quick. We can see that Bitcoin dominance is still above that 2-year channel that had been created dating back here to 2021, May of 2021. So it broke out of that 2-year channel on the Bitcoin spot ETF news, and it's still been sitting above that 50% mark. Definitely dipped down a little bit here during the XRP news that came out earlier this week when the U.S. Southern District Court announced that it's not an investment contract when XRP is selling its coin on an exchange. It doesn't qualify as a investment contract. So that's certainly good news. It's bullish for the altcoins. As you can see, we had a pretty solid red candle here to drop that back down. Once we can retake this 48% mark and we can get back into this channel, as it starts to come down, we should be seeing altcoins starting to maybe make a little bit of a run. Of course, all markets are going to get led by Bitcoin, but once those altcoins start to move, it'll be a nice alt season. Can't tell exactly when that'll be yet. Of course, I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did. We're certainly expecting another alt season. Hopefully that can be this year. That'd be awesome. We'll take a look at the market, and every time we have one of these live shows, we're going to be doing TA to keep everything up to date. So let's go ahead and hop into our topic. Panel, thank you guys so much for being here. You guys, I'm not going to take time to introduce you guys individually. You guys have been on the show before, so I certainly want to thank you guys for the time tonight. So I want to pull Jeff in here. Jeff, I want to, certainly get your feed and get your intake on the crypto markets. And the first question that I want to ask you is, are you exclusively invested in Bitcoin only, or do you have alternate investments that you like to partake in? If you could just speak on a little bit of that, what's motivating you to stay in crypto, and once we get to that 2025 area, what are you looking to do as far as with the crypto gains that you're going to get? Are you going to roll that stuff into somewhere? What exactly is your game plan?
Okay, so first off, my name's Jeff. So first question was, am I exclusively in Bitcoin? To tell you the truth, I own this much Bitcoin. So I don't have any. I used to. Then I rotated that money into more profitable coins, in my opinion. I do plan on turning some of my gains in the future into Bitcoin as a hedge against a price drop. As far as what other coins I'm in, well, I like Hex a lot, both of them. I have both of them. Pulse Chain, Pulse X. I have, let me see, I got my portfolio right here. Got a little bit of, honestly, got a lot of stuff in the Pulse Chain ecosystem, to tell you the truth. Hedron, I got some fiat, some time, I got a bunch of stuff. But as far as what was your question before? What do I plan on doing to take profits?
Yeah, pretty much like, so, it sounds like you're in altcoins. You're going to roll that into Bitcoin to hedge it. Are you only exclusively in the crypto market? Do you have other investments, whether it's the stock market? Do you participate in real estate? What other investment strategies do you currently use right now?
I'm not in stocks. The only thing I'm in right now is crypto. That is for right now. When when the top of the bull hits, or at least in my opinion, there's no way of telling if it's the top. Some people tell you, oh, it's definitely the top. Don't do your research. Don't always listen to people. It's a good way to lose a lot of money. I have a strategy as in, I'll take 4 quarters, so 25%, leave it in the coins that I'm invested in, not touch it. Take 25%, put that 25% in the Bitcoin only. That way, as coins drop. So let's say I mistimed the bull market. Well, at least if I have it in Bitcoin and 25% in the other coins, then I'll still be able to get some of those gains, but I'll still take out 25% on the side and have that. So 25% I'm gonna leave, 25% Bitcoin, 25% I'm going to turn into cash or stables so I can rebuy the low when I think, the bottom of the bear hits, the next one. And then 25% I'm going to invest in rentals, multifamily, whatever kind of rentals you want to go with. Oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
No, yeah, my fault. I had myself accidentally muted. Okay, cool deal. Awesome. Hey, Brendan, I want to bring you in here. I know you have a little bit of a different strategy. I want to know how yours compares to Jeff's. And how does yours differ from Jeff's?
Yeah, thank you. Excited to be here. Thanks everybody for watching. So I think for me personally, I have my coins spread out. I'm also pretty heavily invested in the Richard Heart ecosystem. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Cardano ecosystem as well, if you couldn't tell by my hat. It's a platform that is building slowly and it's taking its time, but it's building a very solid foundation. I like the leader, Charles Hoskins. So just from that standpoint, I like that. But what I want to do when it comes to taking profits, because I definitely missed the top of the bull market last time and kind of watched most of my profits go to the wayside. So this time I have a plan, and that's really important. First thing I do, I want to rotate some of my gains into hard assets like real estate. I am in South Florida. Real estate is a very high growing and important asset down here. Also, for me, I'm looking at my sort of short-term plan, which is, what's the market doing? Then I have my 2 to 3 year plan, right, through the bull market. And then essentially I have my 8 to 10 year plan, right? So two bear markets, 2 bull markets. And then I reassess what my plan is going to be there. But definitely keep in mind the importance of DCAing out. As you said earlier, Josh, we're not just, hey, we're at the top, we're going to take 100% out. We're going to slowly take profits as price appreciates. In that way, we're not left missing a time to sell and missing profits like I've done previously. And so real estate, some other hard assets like watches, I really like as well. And then we just roll.
That's awesome, dude. Billy, I want to have you pop in here real quick. I want to hear what different investment vehicles that you participate in, and if you don't necessarily participate in any right now, what you're looking at. And then after you answer that, if you could sort of talk a little bit about how you prioritize, talk on the importance of how you prioritize not only your current crypto portfolio, but how you would also prioritize whether it's current or whether it's future different investment avenues. If you could talk a little bit about the prioritization there.
Yeah. I'm lucky to have a couple properties, one of them that's paid for, and I'm trying to kind of get out from underneath the other one. So I'm almost, trying to get to that, just not carrying debt. But that's just a specific strategy at this point. I've got, kind of like the 15-year HSI Hex stakes. I've got, retirement money and IRA that's pushed out for 24 years, so that's kind of, it's good to have, will you be long is because I want to be long, I don't want to be focused on what's going on in the short term as much as creating a ladder strategy for the future. So with the real estate and the retirement kind of covers the stock market because that's how that's, blended. And I let a guy do that at a bank who that's his job, Crypto is much more approachable. Started learning from the boys, of course, shout out to CC and DCC, and learning, over the last year has been a painful process at times as far as we've been in a bear market. But, having the type of fortitude that we and conviction and belief that we all have that, this is an emerging technology and that we're on the right side of history as far as getting in early, at least on some of these projects. It's worth sticking around for a couple of years and seeing how it all turns out. And then, ideally you take profits and then wait for the bear market to come. And I'm going about 80-20, 80% take it all back out into IRL and leave 20% in the market for the next cycle.
That certainly sounds like a great investment strategy. Nate, I want to bring you in here real quick. Honestly, Nate, you're one of probably the hardest working dudes I know. Just talking, when we were having our phone calls before we even started the show, hearing you out grinding at work and stuff like that. You're constantly behind the scenes trying to find different avenues to maximize your time and make as much money as possible. So I want to get your take on it. And then I also, if you could, I want you to talk a little bit about your short-term and your long-term plans when it comes to investment. If you could sort of roll into that and speak on that a little bit.
Yeah. So the idea that I've kind of come up with is one of the issues that I usually have when it comes to like any kind of retirement money is going to be, okay, so you make a lot of gains, you get $1 million and then you put it into a Roth IRA, right? And then you drip feed yourself that monthly and retire on that. Okay, but you're losing the money entirely, right? So you made the money and now you're losing it. When there are things out there called yielding, right? And stock yielding is a very real thing that you could do. So I put $1 million into a stock yield at 10%, right? I can get $10,000 a month, right? For however many years that you promised to keep it in there. This is an original idea that crypto kind of took as well. And when I started realizing you can do that with crypto as well, I started thinking to myself, you know what? Like I can make the gains with crypto and then pull it out and then do that with stocks, right? Or maybe real estate, something like that though, right? Then I started looking deeper and deeper into it, and I started realizing, wait a minute, I could technically do that actually with crypto, because I've been trying to figure out exactly how you can retire on this, right, while not losing the original gains you get, right? And so what I've kind of realized that you can do, and this is going to be my, I guess you could call it short term, right? Short term is basically get up to the top of the bull, sell off almost everything, right? Like maybe 80% of everything I've got, take all those gains. I know it's going to go back down eventually, right? And so at that point in time, I'll take those stables, I'll put them into some kind of yielding, and it'll just, you know, spit out dollars for me, right? At that point in time. And then as soon as things get really low again, like when we start hitting those bottoms, I'm gonna take all that money and DC it all right back in. Okay. I'm still not like, maybe I'll take out enough for me to retire on, which I could retire comfortably with like maybe 5,000 a month, right? But so it's nothing ridiculous, like, you know, $100,000 a month, something stupid like that, right? No, it's nothing ridiculous. So what I'll do is I'll take that and I'll start throwing it back in come the next bear market, because everything goes up and down, right? And so when it's down, you buy, and I'll just buy up everything. And as soon as we start going up again, I'm going to have even more now. And that right there is going to be my long term, kind of like how my favorite type of yielding strategy is rehypothecating. Well, this is the rehypothecation of my retirement, right? I'll start off with a couple of years, just $5,000 a month. And then the next couple of years after that, when this cycle goes through again, maybe it'll be 10,000, maybe it'll be 20,000, don't know. But I'll keep doing that. I'll keep doing that. And this will also allow me to get like side hustles, side jobs, and things like that I want to do, not just continually working my own time away, right? For just pennies. And instead I can do something that can really like a full business, right? You can really make a lot of money doing that. Then I can focus on that. So that's kind of where I'm going with this whole thing, as far as like crypto goes and all that.
Awesome. That's great insight. It's certainly something to definitely think about. I want to bring in Will here, and you know, it's funny. I see Will's driving right now. So, but Will, if you can, you know, bring yourself on with your Bluetooth here, and you know, one of my favorite parts about the intro video is when you say how, you know, you got into Bitcoin and you rode it all the way up, and you know, you've given your track history and you've given your experiences on other shows about what happened in that 2021 bull cycle. And, you know, so, you know, how important, if you could just speak real quick on looking back, continuing to always look back over the course of your own history and the mistakes that you made, not only the successes that you've made as you move forward, but how important are those mistakes that you've made as well? And, you know, if you could talk a little bit on the importance of continuing to, you know, check inward, look at yourself inward, and see what areas you need to improve investment wise. If you could just speak on that.
So the mistakes are important because the mistakes drive home the reality that the world is not what we think it is, right? Like if you go throughout life without making any sort of mistakes, then you're just living in la la land. You're just, I guess, rolling fucking sevens everywhere, or not sevens, but snake eyes. I don't know, whatever the lucky dice number is, right? If you're just going through life getting lucky all the time and never having to learn any real hard truth, like hard learned lessons or anything like that, then you're just going to be put at a total disadvantage whenever it comes time for the rubber to meet the road, and you do have to take a nice big old bite full of humble pie. So I was, what you were alluding to is what I had done in the past is I had bought Bitcoin, basically the entire ride of the last bull run, right? So what that taught me is don't buy things as it's going up, because it's eventually going to start coming back down. Or if you are going to buy things while it's going up, you have to have a reasonable expectation of what's going to be happening in the future and everything like that. Does that answer your question? I kind of went off on a little thought process there.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you have any more that you wanted to add, or does that sort of sum up what you wanted to talk about?
I suppose the important thing about mistakes is you can make mistakes all throughout life, but you have to learn the lesson that comes with that mistake. If you make the mistake and you experience the pain and you don't get anything out of it, well, then congratulations, you wasted your time and you wasted pain. You know, you could turn that into a valuable learning lesson and move forward with it, and then not make that same mistake again and become wiser for it, become stronger for it. You could let that mistake build up your character, or you could let it destroy you into, withering nothingness or something like that. So I suppose anecdotally, I learned from my mistake about Bitcoin. I learned a very painful financial mistake. The things that I particularly learned is don't over leverage yourself financially. So essentially, I was just making boatloads of money at the time, and I was just throwing pretty much everything into Bitcoin as it was going up, and then work kind of ran out because I work in like ironworking, TV tower construction, shit like that.
I think he cut out. Did he cut out for anybody else?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, there we are.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
We are live.
The tower needs a little more construction.
Where did it cut out at?
You cut out right after you were talking
Tower
about
construction.
Tower construction, yeah.
Work.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So essentially, so the price of Bitcoin stopped going up right around the time that my work started slowing down and I stopped making as much money. And so I had over leveraged myself in that, not in like going out and taking loans and everything, but like I had spent money that I should have been planning as like, hey, at some point work's going to slow down. I need a nest egg to live off of. And instead I took that and threw it all in an investment thing, just fucking aping into this thing that I thought was really cool and believed in. It would, like, without realizing that, the value of something goes up and the value of something goes down, irrespective of how cool we personally think it is, right? So I didn't factor that into play, and I did not factor into play that, like, shit happens in real life, and it's good to have a nest egg. It's good to have a what does fucking Dave Ramsey call it? The emergency fund or the water heater fund or whatever the hell, like life costs money. And so if you're throwing all your money into like imaginary internet dream coins and things, like, you're not going to have enough to live through life. So anyways, I put myself in a position where I was forced to liquidate a lot of my Bitcoin investments at a loss. And that was a painful but hard-earned lesson that I now know to pay much better attention to both of those things, investing as the number goes up, as well as paying attention to the expenses that life will incur and having a livable cash fund. This is something that not a lot of people talk about, is like life costs money. You think every day you spend somewhere between $20 on food plus rent, plus, your clothes are going to wear out, plus you're eventually your AC is going to break. Like, life costs money. So if you factor in every single day is worth X, Y, and Z number of dollars, and then you extrapolate that out, 3 to 6 months, like, what is 3 to 6 months worth of expenses? What is some shit that I should, like, keep cash money, this dirty fiat cash money, keep some of that stuff in the bank, keep some dollar bills in your wallet, do some stuff like that. So that way when emergencies hit or when circumstances change, you have a cushion to fall upon, instead of having to put yourself in a position where you need to liquidate things that could potentially be worth way more money in the future.
I love that advice.
That's all I got on that.
I love that advice. Not a lot of people talk about the importance of making sure you have that rainy day fund, that Dave Ramsey talks about having. It's so important. It's so important to have that rainy day fund, and it's so important to be able to have a solid 6 months to a year of savings in your account, so that, in the event something happens, it's super important to be able to have something to fall back on, so it doesn't completely ruin your lifestyle right out the gate, and so that you're not struggling along the way. So, Brennan, I want to bring you back in here real quick. You hinted on a good area that I think needs to be covered. If you could talk on the importance of self-investment We've talked a little about, Billy's talked a little bit about real estate, and I know Nate's entrepreneurial. I'm pretty sure Nate's going to be a very successful business owner one day. But if you could talk about investing in yourself, spending a little bit of time talking on that.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's important. Right now we've mostly touched on, how do we make money and how are we taking profits and what are we investing in from a money standpoint. But, money is one aspect of having a healthy life, right? Having a comfortable life. If you have all the money in the world, but, your mental health, your physical health isn't there as well, then the money is really not going to be as useful. So I think when we talk about investing, it's really important to invest in all aspects of our lives. We are the one thing that we can never get back, if something happens to us, if we stop taking care of ourselves. And so, yes, it's really important for us to invest monetarily in crypto or other assets that may give you an opportunity to make money. But for me personally, what am I doing to better myself? And what am I doing to invest in myself? Be it learning new skills like crypto, right? Like charting, like financial analysis, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, body, mind, spirit, money, right? There's sort of the big four, in my opinion, for me personally, that I really try to improve upon on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and having those goals, not just financially, but physically, right, are important as well. So it's okay to write things down. It's really, really good to write your goals down. Put them somewhere in your room, put them on your fridge, put them somewhere where you see them, right? Your short-term goals, your long-term goals, so that you can hold yourself accountable, right? We always talk about accountability in crypto, but that means, right, being very focused. And if you're not focused in other areas of life, then you're also going to suffer in crypto as well. So invest in yourselves, make it important, and really realize that it's a lifestyle change, right? Crypto, if you put the hard work into it, is going to end up being a lifestyle change for you completely.
For sure. And I want to keep you here because I want to transition. So we talked a little bit about the different investment strategies that we have. We talked about how we're going to classify short-term versus long-term. We talked about the importance of having that rainy day fund. We've covered a couple different topics. What I want to sort of transition now is I want to talk about the social, the social dynamic of investing. We can talk specifically about the social dynamic of investing in crypto, but also the social dynamic of investments in general. So, Brendan, the first question that I want to ask you, I want to get your insight on it, is what would investing in crypto, what does it look like to different age groups? So if you think of like the 21-year-old to, somebody in their 20s versus somebody in their 40s and their 50s, and then, in their 70s, what does a crypto investment look like to the different age groups? If you could just talk on that real quick. And then Jeff, I want to sort of get your take on that and how it might be similar or how it might contrast to Brendan. But Brendan, I want you to go ahead and take the lead on that first.
Sure. Thanks, Josh, again. I think that's a really good question. And it's actually a question we've been asked a fair amount. Someone put in one of the chats the other day, they said, hey, I have someone that's looking to get involved in crypto finally, an older person that, probably in their 60s, it sounded like 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, but I don't think so. And they said, hey, where should I tell them to put their money? Because it's a big responsibility. If someone's coming to me and asking for my responsibility, he said, they're older. They don't have the ability to really get up on technology enough to invest in crypto themselves. So they're really giving me essentially full reign. And one of the things that I said after people were talking about Richard Hart coins, talking about Ethereum, talking about time, Pepe, all of this stuff. And one of the big things is risk management, right? We know that crypto is a bit of a riskier investment, right? And in general, you want to reduce your risk as you're getting closer to retirement. if crypto goes to zero, if your portfolio loses 70% or 80% and you're close to retirement age, well, you don't have time to work to earn that money back, right? Myself, Will, we've talked about, losing money early in crypto. If we were close to retirement, well, how do we get that money back? And so people in their 60s and 70s need to have a much less risk averse, or I should say more risk averse strategy than someone that's going to be in their 20s or 30s. In your 20s or 30s, you have your whole life ahead of you. So take risks, right? Be riskier. And again, this isn't financial advice. This is just sort of my experiences and my opinion. But when you're in your 20s and 30s, you have a lot of work life ahead of you. So you can be risky and you can continue to grow, and you are going to earn money to be able to put back into the market. That doesn't mean you want to make mistakes. It doesn't mean you want to lose money. It just means that you have the ability to be to have riskier portfolio due to how much time you have to earn money moving forward. So 20s, 30s, definitely a bit more on the risky. You could be a little bit more on the risky side, but you want to get investing early. I started investing in a 401k when I was 18, my first real full-time job. And I've built a really, really, really nice nest egg in my 401k for my future because I started investing early. And the earlier that you start investing, you're gonna learn the mistakes that you made, and you're gonna be able to overcome those mistakes if you work hard. And so the earlier you learn to take responsibility for your own money, your own actions, your own wealth, the better. So 20s, 30s, get to it, working hard. And as you get older, you're going to need to sort of de-risk a little bit and figure out what your retirement looks like. Thank you.
Mike was muted. No, you literally took the words out of my mouth. So with older people, basically, like you said, it's going to be a little harder to get those type of people in the entire ecosystem as itself, because, God, it sounds terrible, but the older you get, I feel like technology, especially new technology, becomes a little foreign or harder to understand. If you're 75 years old and you don't want to invest in Bitcoin, I'm not going to hold it against you. I can completely understand you worked your whole life and you want to protect your money, but I mean, are you really protecting it? I mean, inflation's so bad, but I mean, whatever. But the whole thing with age, as far as crypto goes, I look at as the more and more time that goes by, you're seeing people lose control and power over their own money. The whole government taking control, banks taking control nowadays. I think now in London, if you go spend over $1,000 in cash, you get a ticket or you go to jail. They're doing all these protocols and they're experimenting. Also in London, they just started the whole a trial run. Took 100 people and they put them on a set income level, as in it doesn't matter what you do, you're making this much money. So things are being put in place to take away your control of your own money. So like, look at the truck drivers in Canada. I don't want anybody I don't want people to have control over my money. And people, well, then I'll get gold. Okay, well, if civil war breaks out in America, have fun with your backpack with your gold traveling. But that's the whole reason that I'm in it. I think the whole world, and this is terrible, but they're trying to move it to like a dystopian future. People think I'm crazy, but I tell people all the time, like, you seen the Hunger Games? Like, that shit is going to happen. They are widening the social classes, rich, poor. There's not going to be a working class. It's just not going to exist. You're going to basically have the elites, and you're going to have people that do what the elites tell them and make them do. You're going to live in this town. You're going to do this work, and you're going to get paid this much. You don't have a choice. So as far as back in the day, you could invest in oil. You could do those things. Now, I believe in something scarce like crypto, that this is the last thing that you could actually make generational wealth before there is that social gap. Because once that social gap happens, you won't be able to. They're going to say, oh, by the way, you have to spend your money every month. Oh, you have $1,000 left over you saved? No, sorry, we're taking that. Because if we take that, how do you stop people from gaining wealth? You take their money. I don't know if they're doing that in China yet, but supposedly you get this much money. You have your little like carbon credits and internet credits and all that, but it has to be used. That's how you stop people from buying real estate. if you can't save up enough money to buy it, then you can't accumulate wealth, and generational wealth cannot be made. And that's honestly, it's brilliant on their part. What can we do to make people not be able to become independent from us? Oh, we won't let them save money. So now is a really, really good time, especially if you're young. The whole future of the world and the whole banking system and all that is going to change. Social class is changing by 2030. Well, shit's going to be nuts. So that's why I'm in it. So I am in control of my own future.
Nate, I want to bring you in here. I want to give you an opportunity to respond. Do you agree with Jeff? Do you agree with Brendan? Do you have a completely different insight?
Yeah. Specifically with what Jeff was saying, actually, something really important to understand is that, in China, they give you a certain amount. They give you that salary every single month. You're supposed to literally go buy certain things with certain portions of that money. And then on top of it, they have a time limit on it. And so there's literally a section that actually says other, right? And you can just go buy whatever you want with that. But there's a literal time limit on it. What? That's so stupid, man. It's so stupid. And I'm not even gonna lie, like at this point, it's looking like either the European Union or United States is like China light, you know? So so what they're aiming for is something like that. It's just disgusting. I absolutely hate that. But when it comes to the like age and everything, as far as like getting people into crypto, right? We have a couple of things that are very interesting to look at. So one thing that, like, say with younger people, right, is they don't really like, just words, right? Is if you look at books, back in the old days, it was just, reading a book, you read Lord of the Rings, right? And then all of a sudden, here comes 2000s, right? You got younger generation. Now you have movies, right? Pictures. Okay, and the attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, right? So one thing when it comes to, like, say, crypto, right? Crypto is just a bunch of code and stuff like that. Well, that's not hip. Nobody likes that, right? That's for the nerds. And so when you start getting like either younger people in or different types of people, right? What is really going to help? Well, one thing that's really going to help out a lot is going to be, like, say, a good thumbnail, right? Look at what when they say Bitcoin, they have a picture, right? When you say Hex, you got a picture, right? When you've got Pulse Chain, there's a picture there, right? Phantom picture, all these things, right? And there's like themes for it all, right? You get the Phantom Opera's NFT, which is a little cat, right? It's a magic cat, and this can help you get more of the Phantom coin, right? So crypto is really hitting towards the get the younger people in. And when enough younger people get into the space, then the old people will have no choice but to follow, because otherwise they're going to be left out, and that's where all the new money is going to be made, right? And old people will obviously try and get new money. So one thing that I found very interesting, as far as like crypto being a gateway drug, right, into finances and things like that. Here's an interesting little take on this, right? Think about it this way. NFTs are actually a gateway drug into crypto. All right. So you've got Bitcoin. People are like, oh, Bitcoin, I hear about that. Maybe I'll buy some. Oh, now I'm starting to look at different coins that are available, right? Well, you've also got, hey, look at this picture. I can move the picture around like this. Hey, the picture allows me to do things like that. This picture is mine and mine alone. And then you start getting people after they're getting to that point, right? Then people start looking at, hey, wait a minute. If I do this, then this coin over here, this Pepe coin, 5x or 10x, in a matter of a month. Oh, I want that kind of money, right? And then they start moving on into things like that. It's very fascinating looking at how the younger generation of basically, what's the best way to put it? Short attention span and wants lots of colors and visuals, right? Has turned into making such a huge amount of money, new money, that now coming with BlackRock ETF and all that, here comes all the retirement money now too, right? All the old money's coming in because of this whole thing that's been set up. So I find that very fascinating. just looking at exactly what it is that gets people into the new money, right?
There are definitely various rabbit holes that you can go down when you have a broad topic like crypto as a gateway drug. For sure, you can think of the NFT avenues, and you think you can always, because there's always new coins coming out. There's always a new kid on the block. And as Bitcoin becomes more and more established, Bitcoin is becoming the grandfather of the cryptocurrency. I mean, when you think of what crypto is, and Billy, I want to bring you in here. I'm going to go to Billy, and then I want to hear from Will as well. But Billy, when you think of something like cryptocurrency, where you take the digital technology and you combine it with finances, that's where you get crypto. That's essentially what crypto is. It's digital technology combined with finances. And you have this new investment vehicle that is now worth trillions of dollars. You have a market that is worth trillions of dollars. So Billy, if you could just speak on the skills that you have developed, if you could tell Will, and then Will, I want to hear from you after Billy. I want you two to have a conversation real quick, comparing and contrasting the different skills that you guys have learned here in 2023 in this new digital world meets finances sort of area that we're in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it makes me think of the Watsa, actually, because the Watsa NFT is supposedly the first of its kind. It's as a financial NFT, and it's kind of fun if you got in early on those Watsas to think what they could be worth someday. Again, if you have a 5555 vision, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that skills that you develop. Discipline and patience are the first two that come to mind, and it can be applied in all areas of your life. I mean, we do live in such a fast, instant gratification world, and having some discipline and having patience will get you far. It's kind of like a lost art. So especially in crypto, one thing I wrestle with is the timing of short-term investments. That's why I like going long, because short-term investments, do you take profit on a 2x, or do you let it go up, hope it goes to a 5x? There's a lot of guessing involved, and one of the skills I would say, so to make it not like you're just guessing, is just combining all of the analysis, the technical, fundamental, on-chain sentiment analysis, and trying to find that confluence that Jay was talking about yesterday on the show. A really great show yesterday about TA, and that show taught me that one of the major skills that you do need to develop is TA. I've never really focused in on it, but now at this point, Jay explained it so well. So I've developed a lot of skills over the year, just with listening too, and learning how to listen by listening to hours and hours of podcasts. And like this, type of podcast, you got to listen, and you'll find little golden nuggets mixed in. So patience, discipline, listening, and having a long-term vision, to me, is what keeps me safe as an investor.
Cool. Yeah. And Will, I want you to jump in here now. What given your experience, given your job history, I want to know if you could put a little bit of spin on, if you could certainly talk about the skill sets that you have obtained, but with the crypto side, but also if with the fact that you used to serve in the military, and thank you for your service, brother. That's awesome. How are those skills similar? Is there any similar skill sets? Is there anything like that? If you could just speak on that, is there any comparability? And I just want to get your insight on that.
I suppose the easy go-to answer would be discipline, like what Billy was just saying. Having the discipline to see something, and like you watch a chart on a coin that you're convicted in, and this is just an example, right? If you're watching a chart on a coin that you're convicted in, you have to have the discipline to not pull everything out on a 3x is important, as well as to have rock hard diamond hands when your shit drops 60% and the coin is now down, 95, 96, 97% or something like that. So discipline is useful in that respect. Patience, I suppose, is very important. Being aware of emotional impulse and having sovereignty over those impulses. It's good to have emotions. It's good to be able to, interact with the world, get happy, get sad, get mad, get all those things while watching these green and red candles and stuff like that. But you have to recognize that emotions are just an information amalgamation system that is there to tell you, like, hey, this is how you should be interacting with the world. When you see the green candles, you should be happy, because that means that your value in the world is going up. When you see red candles, you should be sad, because, like, you might die because you'll starve to death or whatever, right? But you have to have, you take a look at your emotions, and then you say, okay, this is what my psyche is telling me. Now I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to take it in as information that is going to be a part of my decision-making process. And then from there, I'm going to make a decision. Like, I'm going to make a rational, reasonable, logical, and stoic decision based on all of the information, not just the emotional impulse information. So discipline kind of plays into that. Decision-making, patience, blah-de-da-de-da. There's not a whole lot of... I guess just basically the foundation of what makes any human a good human. You don't need to be in the military to have good discipline or to be able to recognize the importance of patience. Anybody that goes through any sort of pain or strife or hard things in life will, generally speaking, naturally pick up on those sorts of things. The military is just one aspect in which that can be done. But those are like some of the core principal skill sets, I think, that are really useful in cryptocurrency. Some of the more like abstract things that I've learned in the recent history whilst learning and mastering the cryptocurrency world have been like what Billy was saying earlier about the TA and the chart reading, and there's all these technical things. There's all these numbers and charts, and we can look at the data and we can look at all this stuff. But then there's a flip side to that, which is the fundamentals and the reading of the memetics of a culture. So, like, I'll take Pepe coin, for instance, or fucking fluffy slippers, actually. Fluffy slippers. So for those of you watching right now, coin's fucking dead. Like, I definitely don't recommend getting into it at all. But when this coin launched, like, we were chatting up in the coin, like, oh, fluffy slippers, that's fucking, that's a reference to your friend Sami. And he's a cool dude, and he's got, like, 20,000 followers. And there's this website that just, like, literally popped up 2 hours ago. And so, like, the liquidity was basically nothing. But a lot of us in the chat recognize, like, oh, this has memetic value. Like, the coin itself doesn't mean a damn thing. It's just like some scammers out there recognize that Sami has a following, and they can attach this thing that they've created. If they're really good at branding and they're really good at marketing, they can attach this thing that they've created to the value that Sami creates for all of his viewers and things like that. So it's a memetic value while not having any intrinsic value of its own. So being able to recognize, like, I bought some stupid ass fluffy slippers, like, in the very beginning, like a couple million or billion or whatever the hell it was, spent like $60, and then, like, the price fucking skyrocketed, like, while we were having whatever live stream we were having at the time. And then, like, we were doing our serious live stream, and we're all just fucking off in the chat, just, like, talking about, like, oh shit, dude, fluffy slippers, it's gone up 3x, fucking, I'm de-risking, I'm done. Or some of us were like, I'm leaving a moon bag, and some of us were like, we had made our little separate degenerate decisions, all on this stupid little fluffy slipper coin, because we all recognized the fact that, like, even though Sami himself did not create this coin, this was a coin that like, it's like when people create like when what's that fucker's name that created like Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. You know, they associate these things with guys like they stand on the shoulders of giants, and they attach their work, their product to these other dudes that create something great, and then they get a community built around that. And then when a community likes a thing and they pour a bunch of money into it, it creates value out of nothing. So being able to spot and being able to follow and like read the room, read the temperature of like the memetics of a coin, and like jumping into Pepe when it first began is because like, oh cool, I like frogs, or like Dogecoin or Shiba Inu or any of these other like stupid ass meme coins. Being able to read the room, being able to see a meme, being able to see something that doesn't have any utilitarian value but has value because it's funny, or value because it's associated to someone, or value to something else, that is a fantastic skill to have. And it's something that's kind of difficult to really foster unless you like deep fingers spread out into all the weeds of all the different communities, and you're really getting a feel for everything. So I think that's probably an unusual skill that I have developed in the past related to cryptocurrencies and things. So
about that, I think that's really important for you to understand, or for people to understand, that you have learned here as far as the skill goes. It's the discipline of understanding that if you do something, there's going to be a result that may or may not be exactly what you want. But like, let's say with the fluffy slippers, right? You were like, hey, I'm going to throw some money in. I actually remember when you did that too, because we were just about to go live. We're like, oh, look at this fluffy slipper thing. And you're like, I'm going to throw $60 at it. I consider it gone. You literally said that. I'm like, okay, well, looks like he just threw $60 down the drain, right? But what you and Billy are talking about is exactly what happened to me, actually missing Pepe. Because I remember seeing Pepe come out immediately, and you mentioned Pepe, right? Immediately coming out, I was like, hey, I should throw some money into this because I bet you there's going to be a pump on it. However, I didn't have any extra dry powder, right? And so I was left with the decision. I was very happy with the bags I already had in all of my coins that I wanted, right? So the only way I was going to be able to get Pepe was if I pulled money out of those coins and put it into Pepe instead. Okay, to me, that was not worth it because I had already had my bags ready. And so it was the discipline and me saying, you know what, I bet you this is going to take off. It's going to hurt because I'm going to see, oh, it 10x, it 100x, blah, 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 right? And I'm going to be like, yeah, I could have gotten that. But even though I knew something like that could easily happen, I had that thought, you know, that discipline. I have my bags that I want in the coins that I want. I'm going to hold true. I'm going to be stoic about this. And even if it does that, I missed it. There will be other opportunities. Let me wait for those opportunities. And yeah, I just happened to find it over here in current Tetra actually, and Time currently, basically doing the same thing. So you need to understand. You need to understand that you need the discipline and just being able to follow through with the plan, to follow through with what it is that you're going to do.
Mm. And so there's one more thing, I'm glad you brought that up because it reminded me. There's one more thing that goes with like reading memetics, is you could get it right 9 times out of 10 and get real fucking cocky in your meme reading. Like, it's all a gamble. Literally every single one of these decisions is a risk on or a risk off, like throwing the fucking dice. But with the memetics and like gambling on meme coins, when you had mentioned and I had said like, I'm throwing $60 at this is fucking gone. It's like you have to approach it, or well, you don't have to. It is in your best interest to approach these memetics and these meme coins and these jokes and things with the idea of like, whatever money I throw at it, it's gone. It's not coming back. Because like, if you start relying on reading memes and trying to get a feel for the community and doing all this decision making based on those things only, you know, without the TA, without the fundamentals, without the utility, without like the L7 box that Miguel and Charlie talk about, right? If you start getting cocky and you start throwing all your money into meme coins because you think you got a really good read on the memetics, like you're gonna get fucked at some point. All it takes is one. Whatever. Like personally for me, whenever I throw money into the memes, it's like, okay, I'm flushing this money straight down the toilet. It's gone. And if it does anything for me, then I'll be happy. And if it does nothing, then it's like, okay, well, par for the course. That's what happens with everything, right? So that's all I had on that.
Make sure if you guys aren't in the Telegram channel, this is the sort of conversations that we have all the time in the Telegram channel. It's awesome. I love that back and forth, and you guys have such great insight. That's awesome. Hey, Brendan, I want to bring you in here real quick. I want to pose another question to you. I want to ask the question like this: how can a solid crypto investment strategy affect a man's life and a woman's life? So if you could just speak generally about how it could affect someone's life in general, and then if you could somewhat sort of get specific, we are talking about the different social dynamics of investing here, and the different dynamic between how that could affect a man's life and a woman's life. So if you could just give a general overall idea what your intake is, and then more specifically, if you break it down, how could a solid investment strategy affect a man's life, and then specifically a woman's life as well?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. It's a great question. The first thing is when it comes to crypto, and sort of Antoine mentioned this early in the show, was that it takes dedication, and it takes hard work, and it takes discipline. It's proven that when you create discipline in one part of your life, it automatically bleeds into other aspects of your life. So the first thing is, if you take responsibility and you create discipline in the crypto space, you take responsibility for your own actions, your own well-being in the future, then that first of all is going to create better discipline in other parts of your life. For a lot of us, we talked about, okay, we need to be on a better budget so that we can have more money to put into the market when it's at these really low prices, right? So we needed that discipline to be able to maybe cut out some purchases in our lives so that we could put more money into the market. And discipline obviously is important for both men and women. You can become financially free when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So what does that mean? It means that, your 9 to 5 in the future may not be as necessary as other things that you want. For me personally, in my 10-year plan, I want to better my life so that I can help other people as well. That's why we put this show together, to give free information from things that we've learned and share that with the public. If my plan goes the way that I want it, I'd love someday to open, a nonprofit and give back even more. So I think that when you become financially free, it allows you to take on other endeavors that are of interest to you. But it's interesting that only 48% of women have investments in the stock market, as opposed to 66% of men. So we do see men investing in stocks a bit more. When you look at the crypto landscape, it's even a lower percentage of women in the crypto space than men. I'd love to give a shout out to the women in this chat that are really interested in this space and taking a responsibility for their financial well-being. And so, I don't think it matters if you're a man or a woman. I think it's important that we're self-sovereign and self-sufficient. And, we see that today, but one of the questions, and I think you'll get into this later, is, why do we see more men invest in the stock market? Why do we see more men invest in the crypto space? I don't want to answer all those right now, but crypto can do a lot to better your life, and not just from a financial standpoint. But again, discipline in one area of your life bleeds into other areas. And honestly, that's really important. In those books that we recommended, The Power of Habit and Atomic Habits, are really great ways to learn to change bad or degenerative habits into healthy habits. They're going to help you build and invest in yourself long-term.
Jeff, I want to bring you in here real quick. I mean, Brendan definitely did bring up a good point there. He gave the statistics. Investing in general seems to be male dominated. So I wanted to get your opinion. you know, why is crypto, why is investments in general, whether it's the stock market, real estate, why is it so male dominated?
That's a good one. I'm gonna try not to get in trouble with this one. Let's see. This is me just spitballing. Well, I guess a lot of people, crypto is a very tech savvy industry. So, I guess when you're young and being a kid, or at least me, I was always into like, video games and stuff like that. Most girls, I'm gonna guess, probably are into that type of thing. So I guess just kind of nature of growing up and what guys versus girls are into. Also, if I had to guess, I think probably a big reason would probably be capital. If I had to guess, and I don't know for a fact, but men probably have a higher percentage of capital to invest. If you looked at just around the globe, the amount of money that is controlled by women and men. So I think that probably has a big portion to do with it. Maybe men are just more, I guess, naturally inclined to take risk. I really don't know, but women, I think, weren't even really hip and defined. I think women couldn't open up bank accounts till something like the 70s or early 80s or something like that. So maybe it's a gender gap because they're kind of lagging behind from stuff like that. But if I had to generally guess, probably capital and maybe just an interest. Like my girlfriend's not really into it. She's not really doesn't find finance entertaining, I guess, or I enjoy this. I like it. I think it's really, really, really cool just by the nature of it. And yeah, I'd probably say something like that, something along the lines of capital to invest that was either made from the past or handed down or inherited or something like that. So yeah, I'd be willing to place a pretty big bet that capital has a lot to do with it.
Hey, Will, I want to bring you in here real quick. I want to know, do you agree with Jeff? Do you have a different opinion on it? I want to get your take on this as well.
Okay. I think I had my headset muted there. Sound check. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead, man.
All right, sweet. So I come from a more traditional and evolutionary psychology spin on this. I think that men have strengths and women have strengths. Men's strengths generally revolve around provisioning, protection, parental investment, and women's strengths generally revolve around like caring, nurturing, loving, that sort of thing. So money in general, the trading of goods and services and values in general is done by men. That's not to say that women can't do it or that women don't do it, but it is a more commonly more commonly a masculine thing to go about investing for the future, to provide for a family, to think about what like presupposing that most people are in a family type scenario, right? And they're not single and childless and whatnot. If we're all single and childless, then okay, cool, you got to take care of yourself, you're a grown-ass adult. But for the most part, like, men adopt on responsibility of taking care of human beings more so than just themselves from a providing resources standpoint. So men will generally be more inclined to do investing and money moving and things of that nature than women will. Women are generally more in like the immediate problems of like the everyday excuse me, everyday living, everyday life kind of dealio. Like, have we got to bed on time? Is there food being made? Is there like, and this is all traditional stuff, right? Is there food being made? Is the house a peaceful place to live in? Is it a good, warm, and loving spot to be? And then the men are out there gathering, sticks and spears and hunting lions and bringing home dollars and doing all this stuff in order to provide for the family that's at the home, like the warm and safe and cozy spot where they all get raised, and then they kick the kids out eventually and contribute to society and whatnot. So generally men are used to pulling the weight of more human beings than just themselves, i.e. their family. So like they will be expected to provide for the woman and the children, and then the women are there to take the resources that the man gathers and then manipulate them for whatever needs to be done in the like immediate problem solving zone. So you will find more men in the financial space simply because men generally have to provide more than for just themselves. Not to say that women don't, but it is more common that you will see men pulling the weight of a family than you will see women pulling the weight of a family, financially speaking.
Gotcha. And Antoine, I want to bring you in here real quick. You had mentioned that you had just asked your sister this question, so I sort of wanted to get her insight. And then, if we have any ladies in the chat currently, I'd love to hear what insights you guys have. But yeah, Antoine, if you could just talk on the conversation that you had with your sister last week, and what specifically did she say? What was her opinion?
So for sure. So I recently went up north. Actually, just got back on Tuesday. Went there Thursday to Tuesday, and my mind's fresh with crypto. So like going back to see all my childhood friends and family and whatnot. I had a lot to unload on. It's just funny because the topics we were talking about today, I basically tried to convert so many of my friends and family onto it. Not like for financial gain purposes, but just to help them out, because it's helped me so much. But I remember approaching my sister about it. My sister's like, she's a an individual who like, is like, I don't know if she's a feminist or not, or what's going on with her, not to go into any of that. But when I asked her, like, why not just, throw some in, like her answer was super like, it was predictable. She doesn't feel the need to basically invest any money because she's content with living basically at whatever means she's living, being a school teacher, which will kind of hit the nail on the head because I grew up in a house of women my whole life. So that whole drive that men have, that biological thing that we all have inside, that is provide, it's something that not all women have. And this is just from me experiencing fully. Like my sister was very book smart, book educated, wanted to go to law school. She almost went and then diverted and went straight into childcare, pre-K. And then when I remember approaching her, like trying to get her to put in a little bit, like when I was saying earlier about like bank information, when I was getting the bank information and how that was kind of like a scare, like who knows if it's safe or not. So I would call her quite a lot and kind of like, ask her and tell her, listen, like just do it. I'll make you your account, blah, 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 blah. And she refused to do it because one of the things that she said was basically she had her boyfriend to lean on, right? So, and he's in heavily invested into it too. So what I took from her answers were basically that you're right. It's hard to put this in like not enough. She didn't feel the need that she had to get into anything financial. She was completely content just living life the way the government wants us to live, right? So it's hard. It was hard for me to talk her into it, and she still to this day is super comfortable living her life just the way it is, right? I don't know if it's the drive or something in male and females individually biological, but she's didn't have any passion for it. Not even just to scratch, like how we throw in for scratchers, not even just to put it there and don't look at it to the end. She just had no interest, like couldn't even interest her in any single way. Try to throw in like she does the Uber Eats thing every day. She don't cook. She don't do none of that. Like tried to like persuade her. Real tried to put the sales pitch on her to help her out just in case things go south in the economy. Not saying it is, of course. I'm just, I like to be prepared personally, but just that interest you can tell was not there. And like the only thing I could really pick up from it, what she was putting down, was that she knows she can get by without it just by being her. I'm going to say attractive woman. So it's like, I just don't think like that financial drive or that financial independence was in there for her as far as like how much we want it, just because we have that natural provision and need to be somebody in life. And I don't want to like grab from Fresh and Fit in any way, but mainly like Myron always says it, like it's like that easy mode thing. Like her backup plan is so easy. She literally word for word, when I would try to introduce her into things, would say, "That's absolutely right." And at least she acknowledges it. And it's funny how she does. But she's 30 and whatnot now, and she just, I just don't think that natural drive is there that most of us have. It's more along the lines of a nurturing standpoint, like Will was saying. And again, I think that's something that's just like embedded in like us individually. Of course, there's women who have that drive depending on your upbringing, but she's perfectly content with just not talking or going through anything financial. And again, it stems down from that. Like it's hard for me to put my mindset and to relate to somebody like that, because I don't know what it's like. But I wish I had like the actual answer and all that, but I would really say that the best answer to that question would be like it all stems down to like needing it, and it's for survival, and they're just uninterested, like they, like my sister's like doesn't even know what a 401k is. Like I questioned it, and I was like, does she even need to know realistically, like as far as how she's living her life? And yeah, I mean, I don't know if that answers that question, but like when I was looking for it, I couldn't even get it face to face. So that's pretty much all I have on that. And it's for me, I just stemmed it down to like just how nature created us in a way, I guess. I wish I knew the actual answer, but I believe just men have that natural urge to be better than each. Like we're competitors. Like we like to compete against each other. With competition, like interests us, while other things interest women. And to find a competitive woman is like, it's I mean it's more popular nowadays. But I'm like, my sister's like, well, I come from a very original Italian family, and she just I'm just gonna come out and say it because she's my own blood. And this is only me saying it about my sisters. My sister's just lazy. She's perfectly content with just sitting there doing nothing, and letting the man do all the work. So that's my take on it, I guess.
I gotcha. And it can, just living a different life than what you see on TV can be risky, right? I mean, if you're working just your regular 9 to 5 job, and you're doing everything how how society is telling you to live. If you live any other way outside of that, if you have any other interests, if you have any other risk level, versus maybe putting a little bit of money into your employer 401k, you're not paying attention to the financial markets at all. It's risky in and of itself to have any sort of different lifestyle, any sort of different mindset. So I want to bring in Billy here because I want to transition a little bit. Brendan, he mentioned the topic, and he mentioned the statistics. And I read a Forbes article a week or two ago. It said that women invest less, but they invest better. So the article also went on to say women are more so involved in the role of saving versus actually investing. So, they'll put money in a savings account, but it's just really good. It's more so than not, it's just going to stay in a savings account. It's not going to be put in an investment avenue. So, Billy, I just want to get your opinion on this. What benefits would somebody see if they began investing versus just saving? You can talk about the risk difference, but you can also talk about, the income difference and all that stuff. But I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Well, I mean, obviously we've got inflation as a fixture in our currency. And if you save your money in the bank for many years, theoretically the purchasing power of that money is just going to get less and less over time. So as an alternative or a hedge against inflation, as we like to say it, you want to invest into something that could potentially keep up or outpace inflation. So that's one way to look at it. As far as different gender roles in the space, or they've changed so significantly since earlier in the last century. women have to learn about finance and have to take a more serious active role in their own finances. I look at it partly as a consequence of feminism. To put a red pill lens on it, that wasn't the responsibility many years ago of women so much to support themselves, and their children. The more traditional, gender roles were in place. Women didn't have to think about that so much, but certainly if women want to be free and have their feminist ideals, then part of what comes along with that is the responsibility to invest in and to think about money. And I think crypto and especially Hex is very friendly to women in the sense of showing that men and women have similar ideals when it comes to investing and making money. But I think the times have changed such that it's very important that women pay attention to investing and don't just expect that things will just work out. Of course, we know the wall's undefeated, yada yada. So I think that those principles of Evo Psych and the red pill play a role in this as well. And it's kind of a warning sign, or a warning shout to women that, this is a great opportunity in crypto to become financially independent. And if you don't want to have no man, then this might be one way that you can be independent. So.
Gotcha. It's definitely something to think about. I want to kind of transition here. We probably got about another 20, 25 minutes. Nate, I want to come to you, and then I want to I just want a quick answer, but I want each panelist to give an answer. So Nate, I want to come to you, then I want to hit Will, and then I want to hit Jeff, and then I want to hit Billy again, and then Brendan, I want to hit you last. And then, but what I want to know is, aside from investments, aside from having a solid investment plan, what are one or two? All right, I don't want to hear 4 or 5 or 6. I would like preferably 1 or 2 different aspects of life that somebody can use to improve themselves, whether it be setting a goal to read a book, every month, or whether it be, doing 100 push-ups every day, or what are 1 or 2 different goals? What are 1 or 2 different aspects that somebody can set aside from investing that could have a positive impact on their life? So Nate, I want you to go first, and then Will, I want you to hop in next, and then we'll go on down to the panel.
Well, I've only got one. This one is the most important thing you can possibly do in your life. It's called mindset. When you decide you want to do something, you go and do it, right? So ultimately what ends up happening is I decided I'm going to not be poor, right? And I'm going to try and get rich. Why do I want to do that? Because there's a specific lifestyle I want. I want to do certain things in life, right? And then I want to pass that down to my children, okay? So how do I do that? I decide I want to. It's as easy as that. If you want to go to the gym, why do you want to go to the gym? Oh, because you decided to, right? Well, why did you decide that? Because you want to look better. You want to be in better shape. You decide. It's literally just mindset. You need to make sure you understand. It's mindset.
Yeah, Will, if you could go ahead and hop in, give us 1 or 2 of what you think, and then I want to turn it over to Jeff after you. So Jeff, as soon as he's finished, if you just want to go ahead and hop in with what you think.
The most important thing I think that anyone, man or woman, young or old, can do in life is become attuned to what is reality. So understand the world that we live in. Understand that our observations are not always correct, and that we need to constantly reframe the way that we're thinking. Nobody knows exactly the way that everything works. The best way to go about life is constantly adjusting the way that you think, whether it's dealing with finances, whether it's dealing with other people. the most important thing you can do is not be ignorant of reality. So that would be my, like, everything would stem from that. You know, I'm sure there's many ways to go about being successful in life, but I think that the most useful one would be to pay attention to what is real versus what do I think, and do I think is my thinking in line with reality. That's it.
I like it. For me, number one thing would probably be exercise. Honestly, less from a physical standpoint, more from a mental standpoint. My brain's always going a million miles an hour. I've had depressional issues before, anxiety issues, and nothing makes me feel better, gives me a better stress relief or resets me like working out. Number two, uh, honestly, just being yourself, just not giving a shit about what anybody thinks and doing what you want to do. Because the last thing that I want to go through is when I'm older, having regret that I didn't do or say what I wanted. And I know that's easier said than done, but I feel like 99% of people probably live their life not for themselves. Or maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But from people I've talked to and spoken to and stuff, I feel like that's a big issue. All I ever hear is people saying, I wish I would have or would not have done this, or I wouldn't. Oh, well, why did you do it? Oh, because, well, somebody said, like, just do what you want. I mean, so for me, exercise and just being yourself. And I feel like if you're not yourself, you can't be happy, no matter how much money you got. I have some buddies that have a lot of money who are not happy. So yeah, you need to find out what makes you happy. Now, what other people tells you that makes them happy, you need to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, man. I'd say I learned over the years, one way is helping other people. Whether that's just helping, your bro in the chat like we do, or if you want to take that to a more professional level. I think helping other people is something that is a good practice, and will give you a good sense of your purpose in life, beyond what you're doing in your own day to day. And then also being good to yourself. I think Theo Von says that, right? Like, be good to yourself. You got to take it easy on yourself. You can't be so hard on yourself. We all do it. We all beat ourselves up, shoulda, coulda, woulda. You just have to be good to yourself, and I extend that pretty far. Take yourself on a vacation, take yourself out to dinner, by yourself. CGA says to do that. Go to a nice restaurant, sit down by yourself and have a nice dinner. So, be good to yourself.
Yeah, you guys touched on a lot of really important aspects, I think, when it comes to, hey, we're not just here for crypto, right? That's one aspect of our life. Wealth is one aspect of our life. Financial freedom is one aspect of our life, but there's a lot that makes up our day-to-day life and our future. And I've already said this, so I'm just going to say it again, creating healthy habits. We put a couple books in the chat, but creating healthy habits allows you to create a plan of attack for yourself, right? Even if you want to do something, like Nate was saying, like Billy was saying, if you don't have the discipline and the proper habits, then it's going to be much harder for you to be able to accomplish those goals that you have for yourself. So being self-sufficient, means creating healthy habits. And like Jeff said, working out, that's a healthy habit, right? It's discipline. It takes discipline, and discipline in one area of your life creates discipline in other areas of your life. And I've seen that personally. When I work out more, I eat healthier, right? When I work out, I tend to drink less. There's just a trickle down effect that comes into play when you create discipline. And, in our society, it's always about like feeling good, what feels good. But what feels good isn't always healthy. Sometimes the path of least resistance isn't the right path that you want to follow. And becoming self-sovereign isn't always the easiest path, right? So there's going to be difficulties on the way. There's going to be people that oppose what you want to do. And you have to realize that if this is healthy for you long-term, then you should do it. But also, again, I also, for me personally, I come from a really Christian background. I go to church every Sunday. And so bringing sort of that quiet time, that quiet space, that time for, whatever you want to call it, prayer, meditation, that is really helpful to my day. Our world is so loud. I'm in 100 chats on Telegram, Discord, WhatsApp, my friends in Miami, my friends in Florida, my friends in Boston, all over. And sometimes you just need to take a break and you just need to have quiet. You need to be able to think without all of the noise and distractions around you. So for me, one would be creating good habits. And two, another good habit would be taking time for quiet thoughts, maybe quiet prayer, quiet meditation, whatever you might want to do it. But it is a really helpful daily habit. So that's what I got.
Nate, you specifically mentioned mindset, and I want to bring you back in here. How does somebody start? What would, if they are watching this and they say, you know what, I absolutely agree with him. It takes a total mindset. Maybe it's a shift. Maybe it's, a mindset. Maybe they need to confirm their mindset. But how does somebody start? They're living a life right now where they know that they need to change, or maybe they need to improve. Where do they go to start? If you could speak on that, and then what I would like is, Jeff, you specifically mentioned exercise. So after Nate speaks, if you could just pop in right after he speaks, I want to know if you confirm what he said, if you have a different idea, especially in the avenue of exercise. But I want to hear y'all's take on, how somebody can start from ground zero to make the changes that they want.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, when it comes to mindsets, you obviously need to be able to have a motivator, right? And so the best motivation is life. If you get hurt in life, you're going to want to be motivated to do something different. So in my case, right, like I grew up with a very poor family, 4 overall kids, right? And then mom and dad, and we lived in a 100-year-old farmhouse, and my dad worked like 80 hours a week and then had to get up and then take us doing things. And I never really understood why it was that he was so tired all the time, or like a little bit grumpy, and then mom would yell at him, things like that. Like it was the way that, I grew up. And one thing that I started learning was like, don't be poor, right? Just don't be poor. I see people who have money and they got a lifestyle that I wish I had, right? So am I going to wish, or am I going to make it happen? And I've been struggling a lot, because at this point I'm 30 years old and I'm still, well, I mean, I'm doing well enough, I guess, but it's not where I want to be. And my work ethic alone has gotten me here where I am at. But that mindset comes from, I don't want to be poor anymore. So what am I going to do about it? All right, switch up that mindset, right? I'm not huge on like going and working out and all that. I'm kind of like an up here type of guy, right? I sit there and I'm at my job and I started thinking, how can I make money? What can I do? Like things like that, right? What's the best options I've got? And I've always done this at every single job I've ever had. I always specifically will get a job that I can plug in earbuds. So that way I'm learning the entire time that I'm working. So and able to start with whatever mindset you want, you need to decide. You need to figure out what are the pain points of your life. And then do you need whatever it is that you're trying to change your mindset? Because if it's like, if you're very comfortable, right? So a lot of people will say, go to the gym, right? Okay. Are you really just that entirely concerned about getting good looking, getting healthier, are you really that concerned about it? Because if you are, then you will go, right? And then you need to dive a little bit deeper into yourself. Why do you want that? Why do you want to get healthier? Is it because you were told by the doctor that if you don't lose 100 pounds or whatever, you're actually going to die in the next year? Maybe you go to the gym then, right? You need to figure out the exact reasons why. This is mindset, right? The entire thing about mindset is you have a motivator and you want to do it. It's as easy as that. But you need to figure out first your pain point, what it is you need to do, not want. As soon as this, and I want everyone to understand this. The second you say, I want this, you're doing it wrong and you won't succeed unless you get lucky. It's not about want, it's about need. You absolutely need it. You have to have that in your head. I need this now, right? I have to do it. If I don't do it, fill in the blank consequence that's going to be painful, right? That's basically how you get that mindset properly.
I like it. I would say so. Take it one step further. Instead of I need, like I will, I'm going to. Not even I need, because almost I need what still gives Cass maybe a little bit of doubt, but like I am going to, like almost finite, like it's a fact. But I like the other advice. Don't be poor. That's a good one. I like that. But as far as working out, stuff like that, you kind of took the words out of my mouth with it's situational for some people. Some people, it could be vanity or ego. Some people it could be health. Some people it's because they want to be around longer because they have kids. There's a ton of reasons, but ways to stay motivated besides that, or ways to keep you motivated. Like you said, mindset's huge. If you get a mindset to really accomplish things, nobody can stop you. Where there's a famous saying, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So, but kind of ways that help me stay with it, I'll go to the grocery and I'll spend a lot of money on decent food. That is kind of like, because I work hard for my money. I'm like you, I'm like out in the field actually working. I'm not in the AC and stuff like that. So, money is a good motivator. If you spend money on something, usually you'll keep up with it. Yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record like you, but mindset is a big thing to do about it. And one of the big ones for me is I let's say all of a sudden I get rich off of crypto and I have all this money, but I can't do it. I'm too old or out of shape or to enjoy it, or I have health issues. So say 10 years down the road, I have all this money that I can spend on whatever I want, but I can't even enjoy it because I'm in the hospital or I got COPD or I can't breathe or stuff like that. So it's a combination of the mindset to do it so I can enjoy the things I'm going through. Because crypto's hard. I mean, it's not really hard. You buy Bitcoin, sit on it, you're going to make money. But I'm saying if you really want to dive into other projects and make like generational money, it's difficult. It's stressful. I mean, it is stressful to me and stuff. People say, oh, if you have emotions, crypto is not the game for you. I mean, I'm sorry, but everybody's got, you see a big wick down and your net worth cut in half, you're going to be a little emotional. But yeah, mindset. And I want to, in the future, be able to enjoy my money, so.
Will, we just heard two pretty solid pieces of advice. I want to bring you in here. I want to know what you think. If you could sort of put a bow on how you could start, and then what I really want you to hit on is how do you maintain it? So you've started it, you've developed a process. What needs to be in place in order for you to maintain those healthy habits? And then Billy, I want you to hop in immediately after him. I want to know if you agree with him, if you have a different mindset. But if Will, if you could speak on that, and then Billy, if you could go ahead and hop in afterwards.
Yeah. So the way that you, to kind of put a bow in it, and also the way that you maintain it, I think is you have to realize that no one's coming to save you in life. It's all on you. Everything, every decision that you make, every scenario that you're put in, nobody's coming to save you. It's all on you. Once you realize that, and once you take responsibility, authority, and accountability over every single one of the decisions that you make in your life, then it gives you a I suppose more freedom over all of the things that happen to you. So when Nate was saying, "Don't be poor," and when Jeff was saying, "Oh fuck, I don't remember what you were saying, Jeff. Something about keep after it," right? The point is, the way that you maintain all of that is you have to understand that it's literally just you. You're the only one who has your own self-interest in life. You need to keep doing your best to take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, mom's not going to save you. Daddy government's not going to save you. Richard Hart's not going to save you. This podcast is not going to save you. It's up to you to make all of the decisions that will lead you through life in the most efficient, effective, and like positive manner possible. That's all I got.
Hey, Billy, I believe you're muted there, bud. If you could go ahead and start back over. There we go.
Really nicely said, Will. Hard to follow. I mean, but you just made me think there's leaders and then there's everyone else, right? So you want to be a leader, not a follower. But to lead, you lead in your own life and by your best example of being a man and having your purpose in life. I'd say a healthy obsession comes to mind, with anything you're passionate about. There's a fine line between passion and anger, or passion and obsession, but any successful business that I've seen required a healthy amount of obsession and to have real good outcomes, always being one step ahead of the next whatever it is. So in crypto it's no different. If you sleep at the wheel, you could be losing money, there could be missed opportunities. It all depends what you're how involved you really want to be day to day. But I'd say a healthy obsession will help keep you on track with the mindset.
Good stuff, man. Nate, I want to give you the floor one more time. If you could just keep it really quick, my man.
Yeah. So what you're saying there, Bill, about healthy obsession, one thing that I learned in life is that, yeah, you can actually turn, like, say, all that anger, pent-up anger, right? When you're a younger guy, you have a lot of anger and you're like, go do things, blah, blah, blah. You can actually turn all that into passion. And so anger turns into passion, turns into wealth transfer, basically. That's kind of the thing that I just wanted to hit on there real quick, Bill. So that very well said.
But then that eventually turns to the dark side. And then next thing you know, you're a Sith Lord.
Hey, Brendan, that's some great pieces of information on how to start and how to maintain. But I know that another super important aspect is having like-minded people that you surround yourself with. I know the popular saying is, you're the sum of the 5 most important people that you're close to, the 5, closest friends that you have, you're the sum of them. So if you could just take a moment to hit on how important it is to have like-minded people around, and where can they go? Where can people go to find like-minded individuals? I want to sort of keep it on the topic of crypto. After all, that's what we're here for. That's the purpose of the pod. So, where can people find like-minded individuals if they're looking for their crypto stuff, if they're looking to get into it, if they're looking to maintain their portfolio, or if they're just looking for people who are in a same or a similar journey as themselves? They're trying to increase their money, but they're also trying to increase other avenues in their life. If you could just speak on that real quick.
Sure. Yeah. It's a really great question. And I think that first I'd say join our Telegram, as Cassie's saying. It's a free join. It's really just for everyone to come ask questions, to learn a little bit about current things that are going on in the market, in the crypto market, in the financial markets. What's happening with the SEC and Ripple? Why aren't we seeing that in the news very much, right? What's what's happening with the BlackRock Bitcoin ETFs, right? So this is a place where you can come find like-minded people. You know, for us, honestly, us 10 people that make up this show at different times, we met each other this year. And I will tell you that it was a breath of fresh air to find people that challenged me to be a better person, challenged me to be more responsible, and also people that I can respect and learn from. And each of these people that you see here on the panel, they have unique perspectives, unique skills, and I've learned a lot from each and every one of them. So, you know, definitely join our Telegram. And I'll say, you know, our moms always said when we were growing up, right? You know, you are who your friends are. You are who you surround yourself with. And I took that to heart when I moved to Florida. It took me almost 2 years to find my first real friend. And that was because I was being really picky about who I surrounded myself with. And it's the same thing in this space. There's a lot of people that are going to try to scam you out of your money. There are a lot of people that are going to give you bad financial advice. Nothing that we give is financial advice at all. Remember that. But people are going to try to give you financial advice. And all we're doing is trying to give you our understanding, our knowledge that we've learned. And there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of, you know, things that you have to be weary of in this crypto space. So you have to find a place where it can be, you know, healthy, right? And like-minded people, they're going to challenge you to be better. They're going to challenge you to take responsibility, but at the same time, help you when they can. They're not responsible for your well-being, but they might want to help you get there, right? And I think that's what we're here to do. That's what our Telegram's there for. So please share it with your friends. Make sure they like the channel, because that's an important way that we're going to grow and be able to share more information and more of our love for the space and more of our experiences with all of you. So please like, comment, subscribe, join our Telegram, and share with your friends, share with your family, even if they haven't been in crypto, if they're not ever been in this space. Well, maybe it's a way that they can just start, you know, listening and learning. So that's what I have, but we're trying to create that space, right, for all of you.
Outstanding feedback, my dude. Outstanding feedback. All right, we're getting to the end of the show here. We're going to be wrapping up in just about a minute. Antoine, I wanted to know, my guy, you know, our first live sub. I think it's super cool. I like the idea. Did you have any questions for us that you wanted to ask live on air? Maybe one or two quick questions that we could answer for you?
I would say Brendan just answered one of them, and it was mainly just to one of my main issues with crypto in general right now, for me, one of my main struggles is finding like-minded people, and it's very helpful, like the whole Telegram. I join everything I can because you guys help, but just in person people, like it's just hard to find that support or just that like-mindedness. You guys pretty much answered a lot of questions. It's funny because every time I was about to ask a question in the chat, like I don't know if it was Will, Nate, Billy especially, would answer it very quickly. But no, you guys, as far as the topics on hand today, you answered a lot of them. I do have questions, but it's just we don't have enough time to get into them at this moment. Maybe next time. But real quick, I just wanted to thank every one of you. This was amazing. You guys are awesome. And I truly mean that, because without like a group of people like you, new people into in this environment aren't created, aren't born, aren't interested. And what you guys are doing and is very, very important, because I know like the branch off, like a lot of your guys' mentors are like Charlie and DCC, and like nobody has ever really done what you guys are doing as far as people that started where we're starting. Because I look at Charlie and DC as like upper echelon, and you guys are like just under them and made it, and like can you guys prove that like the average man can do it too. So it's just really cool to see and actually be a part of it. your first live sub. Like, it's actually an honor. I don't, to me, it's an honor at least. And I really appreciate you guys bringing me on and letting me be a part of this whole thing. But any questions I have, maybe I'll save till later because they are a little bit more in depth. But my main thing was mainly just how to get that like-mindedness, because people thrive together, and ideas, when you put a bunch of ideas together, something like this happens. And you can't beat that, especially if you're on a road to self-sovereignty and just financial freedom. This is it. This is the answer, in my opinion. But I just wanted to thank you all, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, there are 7 billion people on this planet. Crypto is still a very new investment industry or investment vehicle. We still haven't had mass adoption yet. So really, it's going to come down to just everybody you talk to, just gauging where they are to try to find. But it's definitely as crypto becomes more and more accepted and adopted across not only the United States, but across the world as a whole, you'll start seeing more people. I will tell you this, that and that's one way to find out that once we get into the bull market, when your mailman starts talking to you about crypto, or, your bartender is all of a sudden holding, 3 Ethereum that you bought for $7,000, $8,000. When those random conversations start coming up, that's sort of a sell signal, right?
Get rid of it.
Yeah, that's when it's time. When you got people coming to you that never had any idea about what Bitcoin was or any crypto, when they start coming in, they're like, "Oh yeah, I got into Shiba Inu. That stuff was fire." It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and sell because that's a top signal right there. So
I was about to say, the day my dad calls me up and says, "I'm doing some yield farming on Paul's chain," is the day I'm gonna sell it all.
Exactly. So, but as it becomes more adopted, you'll start finding more and more people. But it's just it hasn't hit that point yet, and that's why I'm on the East Coast. We got guys here that are in different countries. You know what I'm saying? So for the time being, we're just gonna have to make it do with this, and then we'll have get-togethers and stuff like that as we grow to try to get some FaceTime with everyone. But it's absolutely great, dude. I know I wanted to see if you would come on. I'm glad you did. You expressed interest, and you've been very supportive since we started. So thank you very much for that. Please, continue to learn, continue to grow. This goes for everybody. Join the Telegram. Links in the description. Brendan's already hit everything. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to be on the show, we're going to be trying to do this every week. If we can find folks that are interested in being a live sub, it can be somewhat a little bit nervous. You might be a little camera shy, but we'll find ways around it. But we want to get everybody to get that experience and grow with us and really take on this whole crypto journey together. So in saying that, I'll tell you what, if everybody could just come off a mute, and then if everybody could just tell the comments or tell everybody watching where they can find you on social media, and maybe take 30 seconds each if you're working on anything super cool over the next week or two, but really quick, shout out where they can find you, what you're working on, and then we can go ahead and close it. So I tell you what, let's go with Nate first. We're gonna go Nate first, then we're gonna go to Will.
Okay, yeah, so, you can find me on my YouTube, The Ascending Man. Basically, the entire idea is, hey, we're ascending, right? We together. I personally, I'm sick of just kind of being like one of those lower echelon guys. Let's ascend together, right? So go ahead, look at what I've got on there. And if you like it, then go ahead and subscribe and everything. However, what I have coming up is actually tomorrow, Monday, right? We are actually going to be doing a live with a LP, or with the tracker and Jeff, right? We're going to be doing specific strategies when it comes to yielding and like basically just making your money printers, exactly how to make them, so that way you can have just infinite money just pouring in for you, right? And obviously nobody wants that. So, you know, if you don't want to watch it, then I guess you can enjoy being poor. But yes, we are going to be having that tomorrow. So it's going to be tomorrow at, what did we decide? It was 12. Yeah, it was going to be noon Eastern time. And yeah, join in. It's great.
Awesome. Will, what you got cooking, man? Where can they find you? What you got going on?
Oh man, so I don't got a whole lot of stuff cooking as far in the crypto world, but I've got a developer working on a website for me as far as creating a Rule Zero archive website. That's going on. It's been going on for a few months now. You can find me on Instagram at will.stevenson.iii or on Twitter at Jagdpanzer auf E100. It's a tank. You could just search Will Stevenson. You might find me. You might not. Who knows? I don't post a whole lot of stuff. I don't have a whole lot of stuff going on. You can reach out to me on Telegram. If you're in the CMC, you can find me looking up Will Stevenson 3. That's about all I got.
Cool deal, Jeff. What's going on with you, man? Nate commented on it a little bit. What can we look forward to tomorrow with you guys, and where can they find you?
Twitter, Apex Hex 369. As far as things that I'll be doing soon, probably spending all my money on crypto, and then hanging out with you guys. But no, for real, if anybody ever needs like help, just come to the Telegram. We're all always in there, but I actually enjoy being in there, and you're never a burden. Like, ask questions, and it's actually fun to answer them. Like, I actually enjoy it, like helping somebody understand something I'm passionate about. So come in there and ask every single question you could possibly have.
Awesome. Hey, Billy, what you got for him, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm on Twitter, you know, searching for those titty memes, you know. But Willie at Willie Belong 33. No, I'm just yeah. If you want to just check it out, you know, I repost some shit, but not too wild so far. Just, you know, testing the waters and all. But yeah, I mean, you know, up in the chat, it's really been great, guys. You know, to chat with you guys, and I look forward to it on the daily. So,
hey, Brendan, you know, aside from flying all over the East Coast for the last month, you know, if you could talk a little bit about what you got coming up and where they can find you.
Yeah. You know, my schedule is a little crazy with work, to travel for work, but you know, when you want to better your life, you make the sacrifices and you put in the time. That's what the bottom line is. So that's what I try to do. You can find me at anonymous_bean on Twitter, anonymous bean crypto. And, you know, some of the things that I'm looking to add to this channel, and we talked about it a little bit this week, is crypto's a big focus, but we want to also add some other topics a little bit. So we might get into a little bit of how to better yourself, which we touched on a little bit today, but I feel like that could take up its own little insight shows from time to time, you know, maybe 15 to 30 minute segments. So, you know, keep an eye out for things to that extent. And for me personally, you know, every week I'm trying to better myself. Every week I'm trying to, you know, grow my faith, and everything that you do it needs to be constant, because when you think that you've made it, that's when you lose it.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, hey, panel, I appreciate the time tonight that you put into answering the questions. You know, I hosted this show. But it's awesome. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I can tell you guys that right now. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. You guys are on this panel because of the knowledge, because of the experience that you guys have, the effort you guys have made, the willingness to help everyone. All I have to do is sit back and ask you guys questions, and you guys take it from there. So I want to thank you guys so much for being on the panel. Again, my name is Josh. You guys can find me on Twitter at Chocolate Taints. I'm there. You guys can find me in the Telegram as well. But thank you guys very much. If you stuck around this long, thank you guys very much for watching live. For anybody that's going to be watching this replay, we We strongly suggest that you guys hop into our Telegram. Please, again, I can never say it enough. Like, comment, and subscribe. Join our Telegram. Make sure you guys have that notification bell on. We look forward to putting out this content for you guys. We like spending this evening with you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Hope everybody has a great week. And we will see you guys back here again for a full DGen Roundtable, 8 o'clock next Sunday. All right, for that, peace out.